Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the market is kind of flat right now. We're at $4.02 trillion with a 312 XRP. I really want to go in and I got bills to pay, but I really want to go in and buy some more XRP right now. I probably will. I'm not doing it today, but I'm looking at it right now, just feeling like, oh man, this thing. I love how it's kind of settling there in the $3 range. It feels like we're just stepping up. Anyway. Okay. Eric Trump says buy the dips. Coinbase Institutional says altcoin season is coming. As September approaches, the transition to full-scale altcoin season is likely. Our positive 3Q25 outlook stems from macro trends such as potential Fed rate cuts and expected regulatory advancements. Now, this is Charles Hoskinson telling you what's coming.
You don't think we're heading towards another crypto winter at all?
No. I think Bitcoin will be over 250,000 by the end of this year or next year.
What's going to drive that?
What'll happen?
Crypto winter is canceled.
Happen is that the tariff stuff will be a dud, and that people will realize that the world is willing to negotiate, and it's really just U.S. versus China, and a lot of people will side with us, some people will side with China. The markets will stabilize a little bit, and they'll get used to the new normal, and then the Fed will lower interest rates, and then you'll have a lot of fast, cheap money, and then it'll pour into crypto because it'll get reignited by the market structure bill and the Magnificent Seven entering in the stablecoin bill. So it'll stall for probably the next 3 to 5 months, and then you'll have a huge wave of speculative interest come probably August or September into the markets, and that'll carry through for probably another 6 to 12.
Folks, I think this is all being timed. I mean, look at what you've got. You got the Clarity Act. You've got the Ripple case is gone now. You've got interest rates. Everybody's saying they're going to be lowered. I believe that this has all been timed together, folks. And you might see another wild card from what I'm watching on the news this morning. You might see the Ukraine war end simultaneously with all of this. And it's on like Donkey Kong. You combine all these things that are happening. Now, I've been following Paul Barron for a while. I actually met him at XRP Las Vegas backstage. Very nice guy, very sophisticated guy. Anyway, I've been observing Paul Barron from the time he got in this until now. And just myself observing, it's very obvious that Paul has figured out that Ripple's no ordinary company and XRP's no ordinary digital asset. I've got a few clips from his show. This guy totally gets it. And this guy's smart. He's no dummy.
And he made a defense.
Here, what I've been telling you for years, just from being in this and doing 2 videos a day for all these years, 7+ years, I've picked up on the pattern. And the pattern is very simple and it's obvious. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, it's all a PR machine. The only real, I'm telling you, write it down. There are only a tiny handful of real grassroots crypto communities. XRP, Cardano, I would say XLM, and a handful of others. I'm not saying others aren't, but a handful of others. It's not Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. This is PR, Wall Street, VC manufactured stuff. They're trying to get your eyes on a distraction. Paul is proving it here. He's telling a story about how the Bitcoin people tried to hire him to basically capture him in their narrative.
Play against a really strong Bitcoiner who I will say, we've had Nat Burnell on our show before. Great lady. But I will say this.
She blocked me because I called her out.
And I won't say this badly, she is supported by the Bitcoin industry. And I call it an industry. Because we have been approached many times.
Supported by the Bitcoin industry. What that means is bought and paid for by the Bitcoin industry to carry their narrative.
I've never told this story before. We have been approached many times by Bitcoiners and have been directly asked, why do you still continue to talk about Ethereum? Why are you talking about altcoins? you're a respected authority in the industry. And when I was approached by that group, it immediately put me as a journalist. Because I've
He smelled BS is what he smelled.
dealt with this before, that immediately put up a reason for we need to dive deeper into all of this, because if there's clarity on groups that are factioning, there is clearly something here. And it's interesting because Mike Novogratz went in and said, listen, you may not like XRP, you may not like what Ripple's doing, but the fact is that there is a community behind this group that is undeniable. It's probably the number one community out there in the industry. And it's probably going to be the one that I think will take it to its next level.
You're darn right. And here they are, and they're talking about how big this monster is going to be.
You see people getting kind of backlash in regards to some of the outlandish or what seems outlandish price predictions that people throw around for XRP. The truth of the matter is, we don't know how big this monster is going to be.
That's exactly right.
If it achieves the goals that it set out to do, and there's every sign from the likes of the president just there that's going to be the case, people are way underestimating just the size of XRP because it's going to need that liquidity to enable all of this. It's an amazing time to be alive and in the crypto space.
We are talking about the leader of the free world.
Yep.
Okay. That goes on air and basically takes time to reference a financial system that is aging and immediately drafts his model into crypto. So you know that he's got, we know he has one ear right now being controlled by David Sachs. And then you think that there's another ear that maybe is out in the open right now that has been very connected to not only the government here in the United States, but also been connected to the payment architecture that has been building for almost 3 decades, okay? And we're talking about, and you guys probably know, the PayPal Mafia. Now, David Sachs, we all know who he is.
I've been showing you those connections for years.
The crypto and AI czar, also one of the original PayPal founders. He, along with Elon Musk, another guy by the name of Peter Thiel, all of those guys are in very unique positions. And isn't it interesting that all 3 of those guys are confidants to the President of the United States?
It's extremely interesting.
Does the vector not really, it's kind of out in the open right now. Does the vector not point to something here?
Okay. Here's Paul Barron's price target, and this is an interesting conversation about price right here with these guys.
Yeah.
If you look at where we are in regards to that cycle, we're at a point when it starts to heat up. And this is taking place when Bitcoin dominance, we believe, has now entered a downtrend due to technically what's going on. Ethereum versus BTC has now shown more strength than it has throughout this entire Bitcoin dominance cycle, which is telling of what's to come. There's a shift towards altcoins. This is typically when the most explosive part from a price action point of view.
By the way, I'll tell you how big this monster is going to be. It's the creature from Jekyll Island 2.0 is what it is. That sounds like a thumbnail, by the way. Creature from Jekyll Island 2.0 is what XRP is.
Takes place. And you've got every catalyst, including the president of the free world, literally talking about crypto. Everything is coming to a head. Ripple has a kind of unique positioning in that in regards to its own specific news. I don't think people are bullish enough. In fact, I think you are going to see insane things. Our price prediction for XRP in the not too distant future is around about $19.27. And that's based on the wedge that everybody's looking at. Beyond that, how do you value XRP?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're talking about blue ocean discovery at that point, because if we're at close to $20 on XRP, that means something major has happened. We've obviously, and I think it'll be a combination of things, ETF, the potential of what we'll see in terms of 401k assets possibly shifting into Ripple and XRP. But bigger, I think, is the connection to the currency system, and that will be the replacement of SWIFT. So all those kind of catalysts right there gets back to your point. And I've heard crazy numbers. I'm not one of those that believes we're going to see, a $500 to $1,000 XRP, at least not anytime soon. What does it have in the future? Who knows? My price target has always been in the next 12 months around $60. And that is based off of these particular catalysts continuing to play out, if they in fact do. And if you look at the price action right now, I'll just go over to the chart for you guys. One thing that we've been continuing watching is our sentiment. This is a chart trading tool that we built some years ago. Tracks trade sentiment. It tracks all the sentiment on social and then overlays that into a Pine script that we built for tracking this, and it's called the MSI, Market Sentiment Index. And we tracked two key things. This was an all-time high back here in, what was that, right there on July, mid-July. We had an all-time high MSI on XRP, and of course we had that run-up that was happening during that period of time. Then we had another one right back here, and this one, of course, was on August 3rd. Another run-up that has happened. So when we start to see that MSI reacting, sentiment in general, and it gets back to how powerful this community is, price action usually ensues. So it's very interesting.
Okay, so then we've got this, folks. We've been warning you for a long time. This guy's a Bitcoin maxi. Listen to this.
Guys, I had to take a break from my very busy weekend to make this video for all those MicroStrategy bag holders who are in my replies saying that I'm absolutely crazy. I've been receiving a flood of DMs from people who have been giving me inside information about not only their personal experiences working and interacting with Michael Saylor, but it seems like I have some tips on some really questionable stuff involved with their actual business. I am 1,000% convinced at this point in time that MicroStrategy is a complete and utter Ponzi scheme. You need to get out while you can. You should have ultimately just bought Bitcoin.
I won't play the rest of that, but you get the picture. And then Dom from Easy A says, at risk of angering a few maxis, I will say that I believe Master may be on its last legs in a week where Bitcoin broke all-time highs. Master's down 20% from its highs. For a company that claims to provide leveraged Bitcoin exposure, this is exactly what strategy investors don't want to see. If this price divergence continues, which looks likely, investors will no longer buy MicroStrategy stock, and the new money that Saylor relies on to continue buying Bitcoin will stop flowing in fast. Unlike when Saylor began this strategy, there are several safer ways for investors to get Bitcoin exposure. It's ETFs, buying directly on Coinbase, Robinhood, etc. If I were an investor in strategy, I would monitor this situation very closely. And this guy has a Wall Street background, folks. Okay, we're going to go in DAIXRP.com. We got a lot more. We got a lot of XRP bashing. And then, we'll go into Bitcoin Romper Room. And then after that, we'll go into, we're going to go from Bitcoin Play School to the adult land. But it's good to show you the backdrop of how these people think. And I'm telling you, it is a manufactured, it has been manufactured from the word go. Go to DAIXRP.com for the Patreon, or you can join through YouTube by clicking below any of my YouTube videos, or you can hit subscribe on X. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Let's go.